I marked these off around 1 inch. You can make them longer or shorter. That's up to you. As you wear away, they will get shorter over time. You can also treat the wood to make them last a little longer, but I like slightly soft depending on what kind of wood I'm using. Here's a little trick I do that isn't absolutely necessary, but it definitely speeds things up and makes precision a lot easier. Make a jig, drill a hole the size of your dowel that's going in, center it, and then just drill one after another. You can line it up, nice and simple. Just makes the process go a whole lot quicker. Now we need to do one more step with the drilling. So you can see this mandrel's tapered. I really like these mandrels, they hold well. If you don't do anything, you're going to end up splitting your wood though, because your hole is one particular size. So what I do is by hand, hold it with one hand. I'm going to hold your Fordham, your Dremel, your micromotor with your other hand, and basically we're going to ream this hole out. So here I'm using a micromotor. I really like these. They run smooth. They don't have the torque of a Fordham, but you can see it'll get this job done. So I'm going to go through these one after another and taper these holes. If you don't taper them enough, you're going to end up splitting things. So you don't want to taper them too much either, but we are going to add some glue and get these in after this step is all done. Now I'm going to apply some super glue gel on this, and we're going to get it into the wood dowel. I'm using a Fordham for this. I found my micromotor did not have enough torque. You can also put these in a vise or use pliers, and you want to keep that shank in good condition, but basically with a Fordham you can do one after another, hold it really tight. Your flex shaft part is going to want to curl itself up while you do this because it requires a bit of torque. But just one after another, repeat this process. All right, so we had 3 fails. This cracked, and that one cracked, and I need another mandrel, so I just finished that one off. But if this happens, the mandrels can be reused, and even once you wear out the wood, you can still reuse these mandrels. So even if they weren't cracked, these are actually prong opening pliers for jewelry. These work great, just bite into it and break it off. Then you can set them in acetone and finish them off. But now we have all of these that can be shaped in whatever shape we want and charged with whatever grit of diamond we want to charge them with. So I am going to show you the next step. This can be done with a micromotor or a Fordham or a Dremel, any kind of rotary type tool. But I am going to be using my micromotor because I love my micromotor. And I'll be using this file. So now we just use it like a lathe. You don't want to press too hard. And I use this instead of sandpaper because this won't contaminate it with the grit. And my most common used bit is going to be a point. So I'm going to take this one to a point. You can see we got a bit of sawdust here, so some woods you're going to want to wear a mask, but some woods will actually, their sawdust will actually irritate your lungs. I'm using a hardwood here. I believe this is oak. This is a hardwood oak dowel. But if you run down your file like this, you'll find that it works better instead of just sitting in one spot. But to begin with, this thing's going to be kind of hopping around. And we'll have it do that until we get it to where it needs to be. Hopping around less, but once I get to this point, it's going to start bouncing again. And I can feel it with my hand. You can kind of hear it vibrating on the video, the sound, I would think. You don't really need to apply a lot of pressure, you just run it back and forth. One thing I've done to speed things up in the past is I'll run this on a belt sander with a dremel that has a battery. I'll just run it on the belt sander, get it to the shape I want, and then I'll take it to a file to make sure that there's no grit up in the bit. When I first started doing this, I used square wood, and this process took a lot longer. And once I tried hardwood dowels, then everything worked. You'll see too, like right now. See how that's wavy? Well, that's because we are not even. So, just gonna keep working it. Basically like a little wood lathe. Once I get it to where I want it, then switch to the other side of the file. So this is a bastard cut, I believe, and I'm not sure what this is, but this is a file with two different file's getting a little loaded here. Has some sawdust in it from last time I did this. I was using different wood, I can see. So you can see I am not fully round here. There you go. Let's do another one. You can see the more wonky it is, the more work you're going to have to do with your file too, if you have some kind of brush. Going to make it so things move along a lot quicker and your file is all loaded up. Well, I'm going to put a mask on for this one because it's going to be a mess. Then repeat the process for however many of them you make. You can change the shape, keep the shape. I like to do multiple shapes and charge with different grits. So now I've finished shaping all the points. This is probably my most used shape. For fire agate, sometimes you end up with bubbly tops, and this, if you make a shape that conforms to that, you're going to have a better finish on it and a more smooth dome instead of it being choppy trying to hit it with certain bits. Did this tip shape right here to do like divots or negative domes. So as you can see, you can create shapes for whatever job you're trying to do. This one I did to get into rounded grooves. You can see you can also do some kind of doming type shape with that area right there. Did some solid barrels. This one I should have went a little further on. You can see it still has that area right there, but it'll work as it is. So these are all wood points I've made. They're charged with different diamond grits from Mount Mist. And here is a fire agate I cut using 600 and up with those. So I find that wood points help to alleviate some of the issues you have with layers peeling. So on this one I had a huge issue right here, and using wood points helped me virtually eliminate any of that. And as you can see, this has a beautiful wet finish. So I'll be doing another video showing you how I use these different wood points. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed and learned something from this video.